You want to go with me? Do you want to go to the woods? You ready to chase some leeks? Charlie? You want to go to the woods? Alright, let's go. Charlie, over here, bub. Good Charlie, he's going to go up in the truck here. Turn him. Come on. In the truck. Come on. Good boy. Down. Good boy. So how we know it's going to be a good sap run today is the weather. I'm going to turn you around here. You can see the base of that tree. These yard trees, the snow is starting to melt around the tree, which will allow this tree to run. So it's not happening out in the woods yet, but it's definitely going to over the next 2 days. So we should get a good sap run, and I'm heading to the woods. So Charlie and I are heading to the woods. I'm pretty certain there's going to be a good sap run today, at least our first significant sap run to where we can get in there and chase down some squirrel chews and fix the tubing. That's a pretty important part. The first sap run is arguably the most important. You want to get your system tight, so the sap runs you'll get after that, you'll have a high production yield. For every 1 inch of vacuum, it's a 5% increase in yield, and that's important. So keeping your vacuum as high as possible within reason really helps us with our crop. So I'm out in the woods. It's 55 degrees, but there's a lot of snow on the ground still. So I'm out here with Charlie, my dog, and I'm going to turn you around so you can see. So here we are. This is a spout. This is thrown away every year. And you can see the sap is just starting to run. So this is what they call a stubby right here. The stubby's tapered, and this spout's tapered. And that seats in there, you can see where it's actually touching on the inside. And every year this is thrown away because you want to use a fresh one every year so you're not introducing bacteria. Sap is just starting to run. We don't have a lot of excitement yet. This is definitely not Sapmageddon. So I can hear a leak down there. But the key is to walk your lines, push this little loop down until you can see the sap. You see how it's moving slow? It tells me there's no leak. When I come down to this one, see how it's racing around there? When the sap's racing, you check for sap leaks with your eyes, not your ears. And it's hard because I can hear leaks down there, but I can't hear this leak even though it's here. So I'll end up coming back to this one, or just while I'm here, walk this line and see if I can find it. And it's a methodical way to check for leaks, and I have to fight every urge because I like chasing leaks by sound. I'm like a squirrel leak chasing hound dog. I can hear them, but you want to be methodical. You don't want to skip. So as I'm walking this lateral line, I want to know where the leak is. What I'll do is I'll grab the tube and I will drop liquid in there, and if it's still racing past my hand, I haven't found the leak yet. So basically this is how you troubleshoot to find, at least how I do it. You chase sap leaks with your eyes, not your ears, even though I break that rule all the time. It can be hard to find a leak sometimes. These squirrels chew these things, and if you try to use your ears, it gets really difficult. But I'm gonna get in close to this guy, see if you can see it. That right there is a squirrel chew. So this squirrel chew right here is just about in an awkward place. It's hard to get the tool in, but I want to show you a trick. I'm gonna slice this right here I'm not going to try to put another splice in there. I'm going to reuse the one that's here and just squeeze this part of the tubing down onto the splice that already exists. So I'm going to slice it with a knife, bring this guy around like this. So I'm going to bring him around. It's kind of fun to do one-handed. So I'm going to bring him around, clamp him down. I will cut with a knife that's on the two-handed tool. I'm going to use the knife that's on here. So as you can see, it's going to come down. It's going to slice the tube. It's in the worst spot possible to do this, but I am going to do it. Bear with me. Cut it. It's got a magnet, so it will come back. You can hear it click. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to cut this with a knife and reuse the splice that's there. And I'll cut down the barb. Do it again. All right. You'll see, it's always good to have a knife with you in the woods. I'll pry it off with my knife. Okay. Take this piece of tubing, just pops right off. Yes, you can see there's definitely a slice on the hose barb. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze this together. I'm going to try to do it with my phone and with the tool and keep you with me. Oh, this might be hard. I might have to put you down for a second. So that's it. Close her up. So this is what we call red maple, and this section's dead. So believe it or not, my leek, there's no squirrel chews. It's actually coming through the tree because this branch here died. So you can see that wood is not white. So that's brown. This was dead when it was tapped. And if you can look up, you can see this section of this tree is dead. So what I'm going to do is just disconnect this line. And the way these stubbies work is they close right back up into the T. So I pulled that spout out. This is a good chance to give you a look at this spout. There's a little ball in there that allows the vacuum to pull sap out. But when you turn your vacuum off, this won't allow sap to get sucked back into the tree. So I pulled that spout off that dead tree. The sap is now moving slowly like it's supposed to. So here's the system Austin's got set up. Uses this DeWalt 20-volt battery, this converter, which makes this sap level sensor work. So he knows how much sap's in this tank. He was smarter than us. He put it in a box. Sap coming in there, Dean?
Oh yeah.
So it's about to switch sides. So that guy's gonna switch. It's gonna dump sap. So she's running pretty good, huh? Take a look. A little bit of snow down here, huh, Charlie?
You can tell there's air.
Oh yeah, that's slugging. That's the wind. So vacuum, not quite 20 inches. So if I close these off, that vacuum I expect to jump pretty good. See how the vacuum's rising. We got a pretty good leak on this line, Dean. So we're at 22 just by fixing whatever leaks on this 500 tap section. And then the rest is just going to be small leaks. It's still rising. So I'm going to turn this vacuum back on. It's still climbing. We got a leak right here. Right where that grease were. In the last episode I said, don't worry about greasing that. I'm talking to myself. It's almost up to 22.5. But here's the deal. When I open this valve, there should be no sound if there's no leaks. That's wind. And here you can see the squirrels went to town on this guy all the way down. So when you run your hand across it, you can hear the vacuum leaks. Now, because there's so many chews here, we actually need to just replace this section of the tubing. And I just take a knife and I cut it back here. I come back to where that's a Dave Bissell electrical tape repair right there. Cut it back here and I'll replace this section of tubing because it doesn't make sense putting 30 splices in a line. So now this whole section's replaced, and then we go look for more. Right, Trevor?
Yeah.
Right, Austin?
Oh, yeah.
There's definitely a leak on this line. I can't tell if it's me wheezing or if there's a leak.
So, the leak would be on this middle line here.
Gotcha. Let's figure that out.
So, I have a vacuum gauge here, and I just systematically turn off each one at a time. When I see the vacuum gauge jump up when I turn one of them off, I know that's when I'm losing it.
So which one is it?
It would be this line. The other ones, there's no effect. This one, it doesn't, we don't gain a lot, but we start to gain when I turn it off. So that has to be where it's at.
So this is a 2-tap tree here. Nice, pretty sugar maple. We kill the grapevines because the grapevines will grow up into the tree. So what we do is cut the grapevine off. These grapevines are very heavy. So when they're wet, you get a nice storm, it'll pull the top of that tree right down, kill the tree. So the enemy of an Ohio maple farmer, first enemy is a squirrel. Well, first enemy is ourselves. Second enemy is a squirrel. Third enemy, Dino, is grapevines, wild grapevines. So you want to put a tap in that? What'd you find, Dean?
Found a little leak.
Just a little one, huh? Yeah. Clamper down. I always cut it right where the hole is. You left-handers, you just ruined my shot, Dean. Sweet. Still a little leak here. Where you at? There's a stab wound. Could put my thumb over it and things tighten up and start flowing. Nice goodie in there. When you tap trees, you get all sorts of tree bark. The most common thing in this tubing is algae. At the beginning of the season, there's algae that grows in this tubing. And by the way, it grows in every maple farmer's tubing, except the ones that use isopropyl alcohol to clean their lines. If you ever see a maple farmer with super clean tubing, it's because they're using isopropyl alcohol, which honestly is not that big a deal. It's legal in Canada, but it's not legal in the United States to use isopropyl alcohol. And as you know, isopropyl alcohol, when you boil it, is going to leave during the fractional distillation, which is a fancy word for boil. Have it. So I'm gonna walk down to the new section of woods, and we still have some leaks to chase. Trees are slowing down. It's 55 degrees out, but there is so much snow on the ground still that these trees they're not running. I hear a little leak here, so before we get to the new section of woods, I am gonna fix this. But I wanted to invite you. We do a free pancake breakfast and tour, and we've been doing this for almost 20 years. On March 5th and 12th. We give tours, there's music, it's a good time. And I wanted to invite you. It's the Maple Madness Tour at Bissell Maple Farm, March 5th and 12th. Those are Saturdays, and I believe it is from 9 to 1. I'm not quite sure. But I'll put some information down the description below so you can, hey, if you can bring the family out, have a good time, I think you'll enjoy it. And a lot of volunteers, a lot of good people, and hope to see you there. All right. There's no place I'd rather be, Dino.
Yeah.
This is a whip. Let me explain how a whip works. I've done it in previous episodes, but all right. This is where the liquid drops down into the wet line on our wet dry line. This is where the vacuum comes from on our dry line. This little valve right here is the secret. Because if I open and close that valve, if I hear sound, I know the leak is on this line. If I don't hear any sound, I move on to the next one. So this is a way when things start getting tight, or you need to find a vacuum leak in a section of woods, that valve is your friend. This is how we set up woods today. You saw some of the old sections that we tap. That tubing's 15 years old. It needs replaced. This is the modern, I call it the Emmerich way. But this is, anybody who wants to make a half a gallon of syrup for a tap, this is the way you do it. Wet, dry, with a whip, and then 3 to 5 taps per lateral. Put in more main lines. Spend the extra money, and then you bring your laterals off one side of the main line. That's the key. So as you're walking and checking your main line for leaks, and you're dropping your tubing down to look at it, you only have to walk on one side of the line. So set the woods up as if you were the person that is walking the lines. So all I do is I close this valve. There we go. Another pro tip, buy your valves with the hose barbs welded right on. Everywhere you have threads, you will have vacuum leaks. Guarantee you. So hose barb, spend the extra money, buy the valves with the hose barbs. It makes all the difference. So all I'm going to do is stick my ear on it. Just liquid, Dino. I don't hear no vacuum leak on this line. Let's move on to the next one.
We're following this.
Yep, we're going to follow the wet dry line all the way down. Go from whip to whip. Right, Charlie? Let's go. By the time we're done, Dean, there should be a nice trail up and down this wet dry line. All right. Charlie, if you follow me, it'll be easier. Dean, that leak's going to be in the last one we look at.
Okay.
Always is.
Want to go far and work our way back?
No. You might get lucky. Same thing here. So here's the wet line. Vacuum comes from here. There's the valve. Let me check it.
A lot of times you'll actually feel it in your fingers.
The leak?
The bubble, like from a leak.
Yeah. Sucking on your finger a little bit.
No,
It's like feeding a baby calf.
no, it's just in your hand. All you have to do is touch it and
Feel the
there's
vibration.
a leak. There's like a pulsating vibration.
This one might have it, Dean. I think there's a leak on this line. There probably is a small leak on this line, but it isn't the big one. We're gonna find a big one. All right, Dino, you want to check this one?
Yeah.
Close that valve. Now, when you open it slow. If the leak was there, you'd be like, "That's it."
Yep.
You got to do it again. Even a first timer, you'd feel it. Nope. Not this guy. Next. No, sir. No, sir. Next. Next. What'd that sound like?
That sounds like air.
Sound like the jackpot, buddy.
Yeah.
So Dean is closing this valve right here. He's letting the vacuum build up on this side. Go ahead and open it. That's how we know it's a pretty good sized leak. Down. That guy right there. So here we go. We go down to each saddle and push down. And when I push down, the sap should barely run. This one does not have a leak, but I don't like how tight that is, Dean. So let's fix that guy. Let's hit him off there. My favorite game right here. Watch your fingers. All right. Hold him tight. Yeah, it hardly made a difference, but it definitely is tighter. Let's keep going. Is that building up? Yeah. Not on this line. This one's good. There's something running down through here. See it? This one's good. No racing on this one, Dean. Yeah. It's okay to grab the tubing to keep from falling. I only fell a little bit. No leak on this line, Dean. Yeah, this is good.
Right here.
See how that slide connector's knocked off?
Yep.
This one's pretty good. Not on this little guy. This is a Matt Emmerich here. He recommends, instead of bringing some lateral all the way over here, Don't be a cheap farmer. Just go ahead and buy another saddle, even for one tap. There's a reason the man makes a half a gallon of syrup per tap. I ain't gonna argue with him. Is it racing?
Nope.
Well, which line is it on, Dean? Let's use our test. Over here. It's not this guy.
Not this guy either.
Sure sounds like it's right there. So, your ears will lie to you, or your eyes will, yeah, your ears will lie to you. But your eyeballs, see how this looks, Dean? I don't see it. But I sure hear it. Hold on a sec. Let's get it. Big one, huh? Let's see. Oh, yeah. This is not squirrels. That's somebody that wanted a snack. That is not a squirrel chew, buddy. That's a deer nibble. See how I chewed it all up? Yep. Okay.
You did the whole thing.
Yeah, let's just replace the whole drop.
You got one?
I do. I got it. Roll in the back of my. Can you get that tubing out of the back here?
Like that.
That should jump us up to about 22. We're here. Might as well check the rest of these, huh? Alright. Let's see if I can focus this in here. So the new sugar bush is what Dean and I just worked on. And there's a couple sensors out here that are just not connecting. So my dad has numbered all of the main lines off the new wet dry line. And they're just not connected. They haven't connected in 7 hours. What I want to show you is the new sugar bush is at 18.2, but Dean and I just fixed a big leak, and that should go up here. Yeah, I see a 20 on the blue line. New sugar bush, 20.2. So we're in the 20s, Dino.
That's a good thing.
Yep. Charlie, you ready to go, buddy? That's funny. There you go, bud. So Dean, Austin, and I, and we eventually get the vacuum up to 26 inches, and the next morning, everything was right back down to 18. So such is the life of a maple farmer. You just go back out there and start over and keep chasing leaks until everything's tight. For us, 26 inches of vacuum is plenty. It's what we like. It's where we want to be. It's worked for us. I'm serious about that invite. I hope to see you guys at Maple Madness. It's an awesome time. We've been doing this for 20 years. Free pancakes, maple syrup, some sausage, free tours. 20 years. We don't suck at this. So hope to see you. Have a good one.